There was this woman whose husband was acting very strange one day, very paranoid. She asked him why, and this is what he told her. 12 years ago to this day, a whole bunch of my friends and I went to an old haunted house downtown to stay the night because we thought it would be fun. We were all settled on the bottom floor of the house and we were fine for the first few hours. We began to hear things that sounded like footsteps pacing on the floor above, and scratching on the walls. We sent Jimmy, who was the oldest of us, up to have a look, so he grabbed his flashlight and we watched him head up the steps. His footsteps seemed to stop towards the last few steps where he was no longer visible to us, and slowly his light faded from view. We called after him but there was no reply. Afterwards we sent Matt, the second oldest, up to find him. He walked up the steps and the same thing happened. At this point we thought they were joking, and our third eldest, Jason, went up to look, shouting that he knew it was a trick and to give it up. At the last few steps where the other guys had vanished, his shouting voice became distant before vanishing completely. The rest of us got scared and went home to call the police, who checked it out the next morning and found blood smeared up the sides of the stairwell. They searched the entire house and never found a soul. The house was eventually knocked down and not one body was found. Every year on this day, one of us remaining from that house has disappeared, going from oldest to youngest. Her husband was not seen again after that day. Police held a brief investigation, but nothing came of it. My name is Ted and I am a 9-year-old boy. I used to live with my father, who goes to office at morning and returns to home at 9. I used to do cycling and playing in the backyard to spend time. As I didn't have any friends in my locality, I used to play alone. Most of the time I used to cycling, as I love it. But, one day as I was cycling I got a little far, so I returned home lately. It was around 8 p.m. and the night has started to fall. When I was about to enter our front yard, I saw a creepy guy staring me. I cannot see his face, but I know he was staring me. As I tried to get a closer look, he replied with a huge grinning smile. I became scared and left my cycle there, and entered the house and banged the door behind me. Then I locked down the door and took a deep breath and crept closer to the window, to look outside. As I peeked I saw the creepy guy standing there. I fell back and ran towards the kitchen. Now, I'm really freaked out and my instincts tell me to call my dad. I got upstairs to my bedroom and I called my dad first. He was at office, and as I explained everything he told me to lock myself in the bedroom and keep an eye on the guy so he cannot come in. He also told me that he is coming back as soon as possible. Then I gone closer to the window to see whether the guy is in our backyard, and, as I peeked from the window, I saw the creepy guy standing there staring at my window. I really got scared and I fell back. Then I sat down and started to cry. After a moment I heard breaking glass from below. Did he broke through the kitchen window, I thought. Then I stand up and look back at the backyard. Now he wasn't present there. I became stone, and now I also started to hear some footsteps coming from below. Someone hitting everything and throwing things. After a moment of silence I heard footsteps coming up to my room. My heart started to pound loudly and I covered my mouth. Then I switched off the light of my room and stared at the door. The footsteps had stopped at the door. There was a moment of silence. Then I crept close to the door and tried to listen. As I stuck my ear to the door, I heard "foolish kid." Then I don't know what happened. I was on the bed and Dad was there. Then he asked me what happened earlier. I told him everything, but no glasses were break and no one did enter the house. Dad told me that he found me lying in my bedroom. After that day I never go out to play. I just stay in the home, and I didn't think I have ever seen that creepy guy again. Maybe. My name is Joey and I am a professional wildlife photographer. I used to do photography in forests. I really love my work as a passion. It really gives me pleasure. But, last week, when I went to Huntsville Forest for photography, something unexpected happened. I used to travel alone, so I was at that day also. I'm used to travel alone. I usually travel through my car, because it's easy and fast. I took the road towards Huntsville. It was first time here for me. After parking the car at the parking spot, I went on deep into forest. It was already evening. I was really feeling good, because I was feeling that I was part of this nature. But eventually I became tired, and up on a hill, I choose to set my camp here. The place looked like someone else has set a camp here earlier, maybe. I set my tent and sat on a stone to take some rest. After a while, when I thought I should now take some photos, I heard some dolls sound, followed by someone screaming. I really got confused. That hell is happening. It can't be any human here at this deep forest, and especially at this time. I was way too curious and scared. My instincts told me not to, but my manhood was telling me to go check. So, I thought I should go and check. I walked more deep into the forest by just locating the sound I was hearing, though I wasn't sure that of what sound could be, but it seemed like some humans. Suddenly, I started to feel strange and weird. I also sensed a drop in temperature. And suddenly I came up to a ratty old cabin. It was very much creepy, and there should not be any cabin in this deep forest. I thought I should check whether someone is in there or not. I was moving around the house, and then I noticed very faint light coming from the back of the cabin, probably from the window. I walked towards the back of the cabin. When I was about to reach the window, I saw a figure staring at nothing. I really got scared by seeing the creature. As I crept a little closer, without gracing me with a look, the figure started to smile very big. Now I just wanted to die. I ran from the sight as fast as I can. I held my breath, and ran here and there. I reached my camp. I was very much frightened and also confused that who was that creepy guy. But it isn't wise to leave now. I somehow spent the night, and as the sun rose, I packed up my tent and walked away from there to the parking spot, towards my car. I drove away from here. I swear that this was my creepiest encounter in the forest ever. I also informed the forest department about that cabin. They reached there and didn't find a soul there. But something evil was going there. They found dolls lying surrounding the cabin, and also found evidences of some dark and mysterious rituals out there.
My name is Kelly, and I am a wildlife protection activist. I have a cabin deep inside the forest, which is about 5 miles away from my home, which is in the city. I didn't used to live in the cabin because it's too lonely there. So, I came here at morning to work and left for home around the evening. As usual, today I came here to my cabin at 9:30, and inspected the forest. Today I have to check the whole area, so it was very tireful and long. I ended my inspection at 7:30, now I have to go to my cabin and send the surveys to headquarters. So, I thought that today I'll not go home back, instead I'll live in the cabin. Because I'm too tired to travel back home. After finishing work in the kitchen, I get to sleep. As the environment was silence, I slept early. But, in the midnight I was woken by a sound. I didn't know what it was. But, I didn't care too much. Maybe some animals. I got up and went to the kitchen, to drink water. But, as I peeked out of the window, there was a girl who was staring at the cabin. I was too shocked that a human child cannot roam around the forests at midnight. This is not a human. I grabbed my phone and started to film the creature. The creature looked like more of the so-called black-eyed children. I'm very scared. The creature was still staring me. As I shoved the phone, it disappeared in the darkness. I tried to follow it. I checked the lawn and I drive few distance to check whether I can get more clue about the creature. But I never seen the creature again. Next morning I reported to the headquarters about the creature. Many night cams are installed all over the forest. And we get more evidences than that.
I am very scared now, and I don't know what the hell happened. My name is Eric and I work as employee in a sales department. I used to work from morning 9 to night 9. Yes, I usually work 12 hours a day. My home is not much far from my office, so I used to travel between them just by walking. It hardly takes few minutes to reach my office. But, tomorrow when I was walking to my everyday road, it was closed. I didn't know, but the road was closed. Now I have to take longer road, which will take 10 minutes more, but I have to. Today I came from the long road to office, which took 15 minutes. I am tired now because I'm not used to walk that much. I also started to work late, so I cannot finish early today. So I got 1 hour late today. It was 10 at night and I'm too tired that I cannot take that long turn. When I reach the diversion, I look at the warning. I thought, what will harm if I took that road? It's just a few minutes long. So choose to head on that road, but that was my biggest mistake in life. Now, I've entered the dark zone because the lights of the road are shut down as it is closed. I can hardly see in that pitched black road. After a while I feel a down in temperature as my surroundings started to cool and a mysterious fog covered the roads. I also got a very foul smell that was coming from ahead. The smell started to become more strong as I walk ahead. I started to feel something odd and suddenly I hit a metallic object with my foot. This was a sound which I heard, and a while after that I heard something very faint moaning from ahead. Now, I understood that something wrong is going to happen, and then, there was a moment of silence. I was too scared that I cannot even move. My heart was pounding loudly and I cannot move an inch. Suddenly I heard a shriek from behind. I was too scared. I cannot turn back. After that I collected my courage and turned back, and I saw a girl soaked in blood was lying behind me. I became stoned and cannot even scream or run away. After, as the figure noticed me that I was staring it like a stone, it moved, and as it moved I hold my breath and run as fast as I can, screaming aloud I have ever. I don't look back and I just ran and ran until I noticed light, and there I take a sigh of relief and started to think, what the hell just happened? I reached my house and just thought, what was going on there and who was she? Apparently I didn't have a good sleep last night and now I'm just thinking about the incident. I called one of my friends to inquire about past night, and then the thing he told, I still get cold shivers down my spine.
My name is Mike, and last weekend I visited my friend Jace for a night out. He invited me to his house because his parents were gone out that day, so a perfect day for a night out. We were talking and cracking jokes about an important topic. Jace seemed a bit disturbed, but I thought it was just my feeling. Then after a while, I heard a noise from the upper floor. Eventually I stopped laughing and tried to listen it carefully. Jace also noticed that, and we looked at each other. Jace and I decided to go up and check upstairs. I did notice some movements in the darkness, but when Jace turned the lights on, there was nobody. We both ran our sight throughout the whole room, but we didn't find anything suspicious. I was a bit scared that we did really heard some noise from here, but the room is dead empty. Jace was also thinking the same, that what the hell have happened. Then I thought it could be our imagination too. But Jace and I were confused at that moment, though we tried to check the room carefully, so that we will not have any misunderstandings. Jace checked under the bed and I looked behind the curtains. But when I reached them I saw a guy in the backyard. I yelled and told this about Jace and he was confused. After a while, the door knocked and Jace and I looked at each other. Jace told me no one's supposed to be this time, but we should go and check. What if his parents came back? I also warned Jace that it could also be a robber, who wants to take advantage because the elders are out. Jace first looked through the peephole. There was a moment of silence and Jake stepped back shocked. I asked him what happened, but he didn't tell me anything. He was shocked. Then he ran towards the living room, shouting loudly, "Bloody hell." When I peeked out from the peephole, I saw a huge smile outside. I got scared and I cannot decide what to do. The mouth was covering the whole peephole. I became very frightened and I was almost dead. Then I also ran towards the living room. Jace was sitting astonished and I tried to soothe him. Jace was very much scared and looking helpless, where I was too. Jace was completely frightened and cannot believe what he saw. Then we heard a bolt and unlocking. We both looked each other. Jace quietly sneaked to the kitchen and I followed him back. We sat down in the kitchen without turning on the lights. We both tried to keep quiet, as much as we can. The minutes passed like hours. We both stayed there until daylight came through the kitchen window. After that day we never did night outs alone.
I am an office worker and I go to work late at evening. I work from evening to night. I am a lazy guy. It hardly takes few minutes, because I travel through subway rail. But, today I got late and I ran as fast as I can to reach my office, but, I cannot make it to the office at time. My boss was very angry. He scolded me and told me that, as penalty I have to work 1 hour late. Somehow, I sat down on the chair and started my work. I was very tired but, I have to work somehow. I made it, but I was too tired. I wanted to stay here but, I've to go to my home. The road was dead empty, and no car was running in the road. I was alone on the street. I thought there will be someone in the subway, but the subway was also empty. I waited for the train, but the minutes passed like hours. Suddenly, I started to feel strange and a fell in the temperature. I noticed someone staring me from behind. A hooded figure was staring me, without moving. I became too scared, because I didn't know deeds of that guy, whether it was good or bad. I was just waiting for the train to come. I also expected that I'll meet at least one person in the train. Finally, the train came and I took a sigh of relief. But, as before, the train was also dead empty. Somehow, I thought it's better to board away from here. I was just confused about that hooded guy. Again, I suddenly feel something strange and then I feel someone is behind me. As I turned cautiously, then... Newspaper report. A man was found dead in the subway. No one was suspected for the crime. And police has sought out the matter, and ended the case here.